Today, I'm going to be showing you how to make sourdough pizza, and at the end, we're going to be turning it into a sandwich as well. Now for your starter, if you don't have your own, you can buy a live starter from a bakery, get some from a friend, or make your own from scratch using flour and water. It'll just take a few days to develop. I've left a full guide on how to make your own starter in the description below, so check that out if you need one. So in your large mixing bowl, we're going to go in with 325 grams of water. And here I've got my active starter. I fed it this morning and it's doubled or more than doubled in size, as you can see here. So we're going to need 75 grams of starter. Okay, we're just going to give that a good mix until that starter is fully combined. You can use a whisk, or I've got here a dough whisk. Here I've got 500 grams of 00 flour. In that goes into the mix. Give it a good mix until well combined. Now at this point it will look pretty shaggy, which is totally fine. Just really trying to bring that together. I'm just giving it a light knead in the bowl just to bring that all together. Now what I like to do is just grab my bench scraper and just scrape any of the dough that's left on the side of the bowl. At this point here, I'll continue to knead for another minute. Now we're going to let that rest at room temperature for 30 minutes. Okay, that's been resting for 30 minutes now. I've got 10 grams of salt here, which we're just going to add in. And I've got a little bit of water just to help dissolve the salt. And then using your fingers, we just want to pinch that salt into the dough. And then from here, just giving it a knead for about a minute or so, just to help incorporate that salt. And then from here, I'm just using my hand to scoop it up and just shape it into a ball. Now it's time for the bulk fermentation process. This can take anywhere from 3 to 7 hours depending on the temperature of your kitchen. During this process, we're going to perform 3 stretch and folds. For the first stretch and fold, start with a wet hand and gently pull each corner of the dough over itself for a total of 4 times. Cover and let it rest. You will repeat this process 2 more times with 30 minutes rest in between. By the third stretch and fold, the dough should feel more elastic and smooth. It's a great sign that the gluten is developing properly. After the third stretch and fold, let it rest until your dough has risen by around 20 to 30%. Once the dough has risen, carefully remove from the bowl and place it onto a clean work surface. Next, divide into equal portions, roughly 260 to 280 grams each. You should end up with 3 dough balls. To shape, pinch each corner of the dough over itself until tight. Then flip it over and use your hands or a bench scraper to create surface tension by pulling the dough in towards yourself like so. If you are finding the dough is a little sticky, you can always add a little flour to the bench to help. Pinch the bottom of your dough balls to seal them off. Once shaped, lightly grease a large container or individual portion containers with a little olive oil, then place the dough balls inside. Now it's time for the cold proof. These can stay in the fridge for anywhere from 12 to 48 hours. The longer they sit, the more developed the flavour and texture will be. Okay, so my dough's been sitting in the fridge for about 36 hours now, and what I've done is I've just brought it out to room temperature. It's been sitting at room temperature now for 2 hours, and what that's going to do is just help it relax and make it easier to stretch your dough into your pizza. In a bowl, I've mixed together half a cup of 00 flour and half a cup of semolina flour. Use your dough scraper to lift the dough out of the container and place into the bowl. Gently flip to coat both sides, then shake off any excess flour. Place onto a floured work surface, and now it's time to stretch. To begin, use your fingers to press down in the center of the dough, working your way outwards. Make sure to leave a border around the edges for the crust. This will help develop a nice airy rim when baking. Keep pressing and gently stretching the dough outward until evenly distributed. Lift the dough and let gravity do some of the work. Rotate it between your hands, letting it stretch naturally. Be careful not to press too much into the crust. You want to keep those air pockets intact for a light puffy edge. Once you have reached your desired size, your dough is ready for toppings. One thing to mention, always have your toppings prepped and ready to go so your pizza dough isn't sitting on the bench too long, as it can start to stick. At this point, you can go with any toppings, but today I'm making a Napoletana style pizza sauce, fresh mozzarella, and a bit of Parmigiano Reggiano. Once your pizza is topped, flour your pizza peel, then lift one side of the dough and quickly slide the peel underneath in one smooth motion. Be quick and confident with this step to avoid sticking. Slide the pizza off the peel and into your oven, cooking for around 90 seconds to 3 minutes depending on the heat of your pizza oven. Rotate halfway for an even bake. Now, one thing I love making is a pizza style sandwich, also known as a panozzo. To make it, stretch the dough out just like before, then brush olive oil onto the base, add some mozzarella, fold it over, then place into the oven for about 2 minutes until slightly charred and puffed up. Once it's out of the oven, open it up and fill it with whatever toppings you like. Here I'm adding in rocket, caramelized onions, sopressata, grilled eggplant, fresh mozzarella, and finishing it off with some red pepper pesto. Probably a meal for two, I reckon. Oh, wow. Definitely tastes as good as it looks. That is yum. Oh yeah, can't stop. The pizza base, such a genius idea to turn it into a sandwich. Amazing. And that's a wrap. Thanks for watching. If you haven't made sourdough pizza at home before, give it a go. Let me know how you go in the comments. I'll see you on the next video.